It's about that time. That's right, it's time for another cheap thrill suggestion. Alright, we're going on a thrifty fishing trip. It's great getting out on the beautiful seaside and drinking some cheap beer and exchanging wild stories with your fishing buddies. But if you actually want to catch a fish, you still can with a minimal amount of money. If you've got a rod and reel already, then that's great. But if not, then you can use a reel, a fishing line, and a stick of some sort. Or we could use a handy-dandy ski pole like this one. You can buy some fishing line, preferably 30-pound tests like this, so you know they can't get away. And a couple of packs of these hooks that you can find for cheap at your local bait store. You don't need to buy weights because you can tie any old heavy piece of metal on the end of your line. It'll work just as well. Washers or old nuts found in a drawer like such or in the garage are for free. We will also need a good sharp knife, which we can easily find in the kitchen. Then of course we'll need a tackle box to put all of our thrifty fishing gear in. Oh, we don't want to forget that we need common sewing thread to tie the bait onto our hooks. We're going to need some warm clothing for our trip. I'll take this coat here, and we'll need a cooler for our cheap beer, which we're going to the store to get right now, along with some bait. Although I don't like to endorse major companies like Safeway and Lucky, you can't get beer, ice, and bait for any cheaper anywhere else. We could get some of this calamari for $4, but all we'll catch are sharks, and we may be able to get a better deal on fish scraps at the butcher section. We're better off getting some of these salmon scraps, which are under $1, and there'll be plenty for our fishing trip. We don't want to forget the cheap beer, because if we don't catch any fish, at least we'll catch a buzz. Great, we've got everything we need. Now all that's left to do is to make our way to our secret fishing spot at Point Isabel. Off we go! We're here! Isn't it beautiful? Well, we better rig up and cast off as soon as possible. First, we'll start by tying a weight on the end of our lines. It's best to use nuts rather than bolts because they're less likely to get snagged on rocks. Big heavy washers are good too, but I think I'll use a nut. Now we'll tie on some hooks. It's best to use 2 hooks rather than 1 just to even out the odds of catching a tricky fish. Once our hooks and weights are tied on properly, we can put the bait on the hook. But we must do it the right way or else we could lose our bait. First, we'll cut a nice small piece of fish off so that it'll fit on the hook properly. Then, we'll tie it with a piece of thread so that it doesn't fly off the hook when we cast out. When we put the bait on the hook, we want to make sure we double hook it so that it doesn't slip off and that we camouflage with the hook. Now we cast off. It's best to get as close to the water's edge as possible. Then you swing it around like a lasso and throw it out as far as possible. Oh, I suppose you're wondering what that ski pole was for. We'll simply stick this pole in here between these 2 rocks and leave the line on the end of it so that when the fish strikes, we'll know. So now we'll wait. And in the meantime, we'll have a beer or 3. The best day I had, it must have been overcast or something because we were ready to go home, but I still was working on this big whopper, but he got away. He snapped my line like that, but it was a good thing because the warden said no fishing here if you don't have no license.
Wait a minute, you mean the game warden can come after us?
No way, man. What, he could confiscate your stuff or something?
Peeled out? Hell yeah, man. I drove that car just like the Duke boys. I was, yeah!
Hey, you guys, it looks like you got a bite.
Yeah, I had a 68.
Oh, a 68. Oh, well, those go fast. Those cars go
Hey,
fast.
man, you guys got a bite, dude. Come down here.
Oh man, that was a whopper that got away. Damn, he took my bait too. Damn! What I need now is a cold beer. No beers. No beer. Time to go home. That was a sensational fishing trip. I mean, where else can you get all of the splendors of the great outdoors fishing for only a few pennies? We didn't catch any fish, but we caught a buzz. And I had a really great time. So, see you next time on Cheap Thrills.